is what do you do with all these new people that come into this hobby? They don't know the first thing about cards. They don't understand what the real value of the cards are. They pay basically whatever because the comps are not real comps. They're just sales history. Comps need to be an actual comparison to another card that's of an equal value. The Fanatics Doctrine. That's right. This is what Fanatics is trying to do. They want to 10x the hobby, and that is awesome. Yes, it is awesome for you and for me because when you bring in more people into the hobby, guess what happens? Card values go up. But there are some unforeseen problems when you drive more people into the hobby, and that's the issue that's going on right now, is what do we do if you have all of these new people coming in and they don't know the first thing about cards? Because one of the issues that I'm seeing right now, and you see a lot of YouTubers saying the same thing, but they're not talking about the back end at all, that card prices are going through the roof. And the issue is, are those cards actually worth what people are paying for them? Now, if you're a longtime subscriber to this channel, you already know my position on this. The cards are not worth what people are paying for them. And that's hard to basically explain because, well, if they're not worth that, why are people paying those ridiculous prices? And here's the background on that. Every single market, any market, pick the high art market, pick stocks, pick bonds, pick real estate, pick any type of market, and there's always going to be a bubble. Doesn't matter what you do, there's always going to be a bubble. Now, there's a problem between excess bubble and small bubble. You know, prices of everything, any type of commodity, collectible, asset, everything goes up and everything comes down. Now, in a healthy market, you actually have gradual appreciation. Things go up a little bit every single year. And that used to be the way that housing was. From the 1940s through the 1980s, your house appreciated around 2 to 4% per year. That's it. Then what happened is then we had an asset bubble in housing, and houses started to appreciate by much more. It's more like between 5 to 10%, and that created a bubble. And then the housing market crashed in the 90s. Okay, most of you were not alive during that time frame. All right, now let's fast forward to 2008 when the financial crisis happened. We had another asset bubble. Housing prices were appreciating between 10 to 20% per year. Remember, housing used to go up between 2 to 4% a year, and now we're doing 15 to 20% per year. That's called an overinflated bubble, and what happened? We had a major crash in 2009. All right, sports card hobby, same thing. In the 80s, we had an asset bubble, collectibles, sports cards, anything that you wanted went up through the roof. And then we had a crash. That happened in the early 90s, mid 90s, and we didn't come out of it until around 2006 or so, and then we had the financial crisis, and again, any momentum that was happening got crushed, and so the sports card market did not recover until around 2016 or so. 2016. So it crashed in the mid-90s, let's say 1994, and it doesn't recover until 2016. Now, I'm not going to predict that we're going to have a crash like that, but prices have to come back down at some point because we are in a full-on bubble. And the reason why we're in the bubble is the Fanatics Doctrine. That's all that I'm saying. The Fanatics Doctrine, bring 10x more people into the hobby through marketing, through advertising, and through creating the sweepstakes lottery gambling aspect of this hobby where you buy a box, you open it up, and you have the chance of pulling a $100,000 card. You only paid $100 or you paid $400, you still have the chance of winning a $100,000 card. And most people in this country would take that gamble. To a certain extent, if I didn't mind wasting $400, because see, I know that there's only 0.1% chance that I'm actually going to get that $100,000 card. I know the odds are already stacked against me. So really, the question for me is, do I want to waste $400 on a box? And that's not my calculation. That's not saying that you are making a bad calculation. You have to do what you are comfortable doing. But if you don't mind wasting $400, then buy a wax box. Absolutely. Pre-sale for 2026 Chrome, at least what I saw, that was $500 a box. That's pre-sale. It is what it is. Like, if that's what you want to do, go ahead and do it. But you need to be aware that you are gambling with your money. The chances of you getting that $500 back out of that box are very small. Very small chance. It's all that you need to know. If you're not subscribed, subscribe now so you understand that your odds are very, very bad. You have better chance of winning at the casino, the actual casino, than you do in the sports card hobby. So all of these new people come in. They think that they have a chance of winning these big cards in these wax boxes. That's what Fanatics is really selling. That's the doctrine. They are selling a hope and a dream. It's a great marketing strategy because new people coming in, all they're trying to do is go, how can I make some extra money? That is all they care about. The new people coming into this hobby do not care about the cards. This is a fallacy that all of these new people are collectors. They are not collectors. That's why they're not subscribed to this channel. That's why this channel is having a real tough time growing. Because the people I'm talking to are you guys, the real collectors. The people coming into the hobby are not real collectors. They do not care about the cards. They do not care about the players. They do not care about the teams. They don't even follow the sports. That's why nobody cares what happens on the field. That's why you should be very careful as a collector with where you're spending your money, because no one who is buying cards right now cares about the actual sport or the athlete. They don't care about the stats. That's why listening to guys like influencers like Jeff Wilson or Card Collector 2 or King of Cards or Mojo, you need to be aware that they're not real sports fans. They're not. They're fair weather fans. I don't even think Jeff Wilson watches sports other than maybe he checks in during March Madness to see if the Florida Gators are playing. And if they're not, I don't think he even cares about college sports. Like, the level of sports attention that these influencers have is very, very little. And that's the biggest difference that I see over the last 40 years, is that the people who used to collect cards were actual sports fans. The people who collect cards now are just trying to make money. And there's nothing wrong with that, except that you have to be careful now. This is the Fanatics Doctrine. You have to be careful as a collector how much you're going to actually spend on these cards. These cards are overinflated, and I don't know how much. That's what I can't tell you right now, because I'm still trying to get this AI bot working. You guys have seen Sports Card Radio. They're using AI agents to buy cards, buy and sell cards. That works. Okay, it's going to burn them at some point. Like, this is the problem. If the bubble crashes, those guys are going to get burned the first. Like, they'll be the first on the list. They're going to lose thousands and thousands of dollars. They're singing pretty, like, yeah, we are the sports card bros. We know everything, until this market crashes. And then they're going to be the first ones to lose, because they're going to have bought all of these cards at overinflated prices and are not going to be able to sell them, because if the AI agent is doing what it's supposed to do, it's going to undersell every one of the cards to sell them fast, which means that the losses are going to rack up faster than they know what to do with. So they could go from making $1,000 an hour to losing $2,000 an hour. And once that happens, you can't stop the agent. And that's the danger of using AI, because you're not really in control. You set it and forget it and hope for the best. And trust me, it's great when things are going good, And it's horrible when things start going bad. Hopefully that makes sense. If you have questions, put them down below. I just figured I'd bring this out to everybody because this is a problem that I keep seeing. Is what do you do with all these new people that come into this hobby? They don't know the first thing about cards. They don't understand what the real value of the cards are. They pay basically whatever because the comps are not real comps. They're just sales history. Comps need to be an actual comparison to another card that's of an equal value. So if you have, for a perfect example, if you have a Bo Jackson, first of all the modern cards, I don't understand this. Anybody that's buying a Prism 2026 Bo Jackson card and paying more than $10 for it, I don't know what you're doing. If you're buying a 2026 Ken Griffey Jr. card for more than $20, I don't understand what you're doing. Now, if it's a game-used auto, fine. Okay, that's different. And if there's only a couple, they made a couple, that's fine. That's a different story. If they're doing actual game-worn jersey plus autographs, okay, I can see you spending on a Ken Griffey Jr., I can see you spending $500 on that piece item. The reason is because that's really what the market is for a Ken Griffey auto plus a piece of a jersey. Not a full jersey, just a piece of a jersey. It's around $500. So if that's what you're spending, fine. But some of these cards are going for thousands and thousands of dollars. It's 2026. We're not talking about a 1989. We're talking about a 2026. There has to be some relative value as to why is a 2026 worth more than the rookie card. Come on. Come on. And the rookie card is actually increased in value as well, pretty much because of inflation. So it used to be around $50 for a raw, ungraded 1989 Ken Griffey Jr. card. It is now about $75. That's really just inflation. That's not real appreciation. But for anybody that's buying the card, you need to be aware card prices have gone up. There's nothing you can do about it, and they're not going back down. They're not going back down. So you have to readjust, okay, where is the floor again? And that's pretty much what I've been trying to do is readjust where is the actual floor to the sports card market. What are the cards, what are the dollar cards worth? What are the commons worth? What are the stars worth? What are the Hall of Famers worth? At the bottom end, because then you can then deal with, okay, what are the graded cards and what are the PSA 10s? And honestly, at this point, I would stay away from the PSA 10 market because you're going to get burned. You're going to get burned. My best advice, stay away from the PSA 10 market. You're going to get burned. There are way more cards than you want. The pop counts are so high. They're well over 100 per card. And that's the problem. And a one of one doesn't actually mean anything. So that's all. That's all that I'm saying is just be careful. Anyway, hopefully that makes sense. The Fanatics Doctrine, that's what they're doing. They're 10xing the hobby, bringing all these new eyeballs into the hobby. They don't know the first thing about cards. They don't know what the cards are worth. Literally, you can sell it to them for anything you want. You literally can name your price. But on the back end, if you're trying to buy cards, you got to be careful because people are buying it for whatever you want. Now, do you want to pay the same price or do you want to know what the card's actually worth? Put a comment down below. Ask me your questions. If you're new to this hobby, put them down. If you're old and you're just trying to figure out, well, what do I do? Put your questions down as well. I'll get back to them in my next video. Anyway, this is Doc saying I'll see you in the next one.